a beautiful day for an evening ride. 26 degrees. What's the time? 20 to 7. So most of the rush hour traffic hopefully has died down by now. So what I thought I'd do this evening is a commentated ride. Now, what I mean by that is employing the principles of IPSGA. Hello, darling. I do like it when the sun comes out. Anyway, employing the principles of IPSGA, which if any of you have done any type of advanced riding course, should be more than just familiar with. But for those you aren't, IPSGA is I think the formal definition is a system of motorcycle control. Now, IPSGA is yet another acronym standing for information, position, speed, gear and acceleration. Now, I'm not going to go into detail and in depth on any of those, but the system of motorcycle control is that you sequentially employ each of those steps, information, speed, gear and acceleration, in your riding, with a view to essentially making yourself a better rider, or a safer rider, let's put it that way. Now, when you first start doing an advanced riding course, it's like anything, I guess, when you first started learning to ride or drive. A lot of it you have to consciously think about, but after a while, that length of time obviously differs from person to person, but after a while it becomes ingrained and starts becoming, for want of a better phrase, muscle memory, and you start employing and applying the principles more or less subconsciously. So what I'm going to try and do, as I said, is commentate on a ride, and trying with a view, hopefully, see how successful or not it is, demonstrating what employing the principles of IPSGA, roadcraft, etc., how that actually translates into your riding. So wait till I get to a bit of a better road. This isn't particularly enthralling, and I'll get to see you then. So here we are, just coming into Old Sodbury, I think it is. So one thing to clarify from the get-go, I guess, is that most observers for IAM and tutors for RoSPA tend to use the system where they divide the lane into 3 sections across the width of the lane. So the position I'm in at the moment would be position 2. This would be position 3, or there's an ambulance coming this way, so I'm just going to pull across into position 1. Nothing wrong with that as such. However, I find it sometimes a little inaccurate, so I like to divide the width of the lane into 5. So the middle one, where I am right now, is position 3, and then to the left we have position 2, and then against the curb essentially, where I am now, is position 1. And somewhat intuitively, I guess, just to the right of the center line will be position 4, and hugging the center line, in this instance anyway, of the road, will be position 5. So when you hear me talking about positions, that's what I'm referring to. So we've got a left-hander, so I'm in position 5 at the moment. This affords me the best view around the corner, but I'm not going so fast as not being able to pull into position 4, or indeed position 3 if needs be, in the face of oncoming traffic, as evidenced by what happened just there. So I'm still in position 5. There's some traffic. There's a looking ahead. I can see the right-hand turner, so right-hand turning. So I'm coming into position 1 to afford me the best view around the corner. I have the view, so I move out. Right now I'm going to be in position 3, just while we're waiting for these cars to get past, then I move out to position 4. Again, all to ensure that I have the best view around the corner. I have the view, now I'm going to be going straight here, so I want the left-hand lane. And coming to a halt. Now, well, even though I'm at a halt, I'm looking around. I obviously didn't see the big bus 69, nice, in front of me. Keeping an eye on anything coming behind me, which there isn't at the moment. Keeping an eye on the traffic left and right, again, which there is nothing at the moment. Do love riding this time of day. Okay, green lights, mirror check, and now I have a vehicle behind me. I'm checking the junction just to make sure there's no emergency vehicles or anything of that nature, which there wasn't. So I have this vehicle behind me, but so I'm going to keep an eye on him as we progress. So looking as far ahead as I can, I see we have a 50 coming into a 50, so mirror check, still got that vehicle behind me. Cross the imaginary line at the signs, and we accelerate, not aggressively, but progressively, up to 50. So we have a left-hand turning here, so I'm in position 4. There's oncoming traffic, so I'm going to maintain position 4. I'm looking as far ahead as I can see, and I can see a vehicle ahead taking that right-hand turn. So I'm going to position myself early into position 2. I don't want to go into position 1 because the side of the road here looks a bit dodgy with manhole covers, etc, etc. So I'm staying in position 2, looking around the corner, immediately moving across position 4 to take into account the left-hander. Now staying in position 4, this is my natural cruising position, if you will. I don't like maintaining for too long, at least, putting the bike in position 3. The reason I do that, I call it essentially the sump line. I mean, you can see visibly on the surface of the road at the moment, that little bit of road, that's 2 foot, doesn't often see tyres on it, so it doesn't regularly get cleaned, etc, etc. And if there is going to be oil spillage or any fluids coming over car, generally that's where they tend to congregate. So we have the right-hand turning, so I'm taking position in position 2, let's say position about 15 million times there. Looking as far as around this right-hander as I can see no traffic coming on. There's a junction here, but it's open. I'm looking ahead, and I can see that we're moving to the we're moving into position 4 because there is a left-hander here. Looking as far as around the corner as I possibly can to see if there's any oncoming traffic, and there isn't. There's the view. This is a 50-mile-an-hour limit, so I am going to accelerate up to 50. We have another left-hander here with a chevron sign, so it's going to slightly decelerate just before the corner and accelerate gently through the corner. And for the right-hand turning coming up, I'm adopting position in position 1 actually at the moment, and it's immediately followed by a left-hand turn, so I'm moving across to position 4/5, followed by a right-hand turn, position 1, followed by a left-hand turn, moving out to position 5. So that whole sequence is, for want of a better phrase, is known as linking the corners. So as soon as you're around a corner, or as soon as you start going around a corner and you can see where the next corner is, you start planning and moving your position to approach and negotiate that corner. So I'm in position 4 at the moment, but I have an oncoming vehicle coming towards you, so I'm going to move to position 3, and I see there's a right-hand turning, so I'm going to carry on moving across into position 1. I can see around the corner now, mirror check, move across to position 4 to maintain the view around there. Now I'm going to be turning left here, just at this 40-mile-an-hour, so any change in vector, and I'll talk about vector shortly, we do a mirror check, so decelerating down to 40, indicating for the purposes of the vehicle behind me. Brake, 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 down to second gear, block changing. Mirror check to ensure that the vehicle wasn't actually following me around the corner, which it wasn't, so hitting a 20. Now, I just did a mirror check, but I'm just going to redo it anyway. And God, I hate 20-mile-an-hour speed limits. So, as I said, vectors. Now, I'm not sure the exact scientific definition of a vector, but any change for working definition, any change in direction or velocity, so in other words speed or direction, before undertaking such a maneuver, you should always check your mirrors. So we're at the stop street at the moment, nothing coming. Mirror check again, as I just discussed, and a quick shoulder check as well. Nothing behind me. Cancel indicator, and I'm turning left here, so I'm going to come out to position 5. Maintaining 20 miles an hour-ish. Indicate, mirror check, shoulder check, nothing behind me. Roll into the corner and maintain a neutral throttle through the corner. So it's still 20 miles an hour, and we have a left-hand turning up here, but remember, we're only doing 20-ish miles an hour at the moment. So the golden rule is for corners is that you must be able to come to a halt within the distance ahead, which you can see to be clear on your own side of the road. So that's a bit of a mouthful, but what it translates into is 50 miles an hour. Sorry, just interrupt. Change in vector. Accelerate out. Got a left-hand turn here, so we're going to move up position 4. Right-hand position 2. See ahead, so we can accelerate up. So what was I saying? Yeah. So well, that's a little bit of a mouthful about maximum speed for the cornering means. Another nice little mnemonic, not mnemonic, but a little rhyme if you want. No, it's not really a rhyme because it doesn't rhyme. But if you lose your view, you lose your speed. Let that sink in a bit. It does kind of make sense. If you can't see around a corner clearly or far enough to be able to come to a halt in the distance that you can see to be clear ahead in your own side of the road, then you need to decelerate to the point where that statement is actually true. So let's continue. Right-hander, mirror check, nothing behind me at the moment. Rolling around the motorcycle. Rolling acceleration on, up to 50. Moving out to position 5, because that gives me the best view. I'm looking as far ahead as I can, and I can see the telephone poles. Well, obviously this left-hand turning here, which I will maintain a position 5, and another left-hander, so I'm going to again maintain position 5. Mirror check, I now have a vehicle behind me. So maintain this position for position 2 for the right-hander. Mirror check, this car is getting a little bit closer, but I'm not going to go too much over the speed limit. Hopefully he'll not get too impatient. So for this long sweeping right-hander, I'm out to position 2. As soon as the view opens up, I move across and look out far ahead as I can. I see the road sweeps around to the left. So I move across to position 4/5. Right-hander here, mirror check, sweep across to position 2, followed immediately by a left-hander, so mirror check across to position 4, looking as far as I can. There's a blind crest here, so I'm actually going to move into position 3 just to equalize risk. And there's an oncoming vehicle, but it's a right-hander as well, so I'm going to move out to position 2. I'm checking this junction here, which is clear. Looking ahead again, looks like a fairly tight, or relatively tight left-hander, so I'm just going to roll off the throttle a little bit. Actually, it wasn't that tight at all. And moving, maintaining position 4, coming up to a 30, so mirror check, so I change in velocity, and hitting 30 miles an hour as we cross the imaginary line joining the two posts. This vehicle behind me is getting somewhat uncomfortably close, but nothing to worry about too much. So looking ahead, the road looks like the road narrows quite a bit there. A couple of cars coming on, so I'm going to keep across into position 2, even though there is a left-hander. So lose my view, lose my speed. I'm coming out to position 3 just to ensure that I don't come into conflict with any oncoming traffic. So it's still a 30 mile an hour here. Looking for hazards. Obviously I have a guy on his bike fiddling around with his phone. Have a dog on the left here. It looks like he just wants to step into the road. So I'm just going to pull over, give him a little wave, come straight back into position 2 to negotiate the oncoming vehicle. We have a tight right-hander here. So lose my view, lose my speed. So rolling off the throttle, not touching the brakes. Keep it out to position 2 in that instance, just to maintain, maximise the view around the corner. So we have a right-hander here, fairly gentle right-hander. Some people enjoying a lovely evening in the pub. Mirror check, that car that was following me has now disappeared. We're coming up to a 50, but I've already done my mirror checks. So as we hit the 50, we accelerate progressively up to 50. Maintain position 3 to negotiate the oncoming vehicle by moving across to position 4/5 for the left-hander, and then across to position 2 for the right-hander. And looking ahead, I can see, oh look, that's a national speed limit. But actually no, that's just a very poorly positioned sign, because the national speed limit is that tiny little lane down there. Good luck doing 60 miles an hour down that little bit. But anyway, so looking ahead, we have a lady on the right-hand side. That's not going to be an issue, but I'm moving across to position 2 anyway, because we have the right-hander. I'm looking as far ahead as I can, and I can see by those telephone poles that's the general direction we're aiming for, and such it is. Accelerating up to around about 50 miles an hour again, keeping my position in position 2 for the left-hander. Road sweeps on to the right, so I come back into position 2. Oh, I may have got the numbering wrong back there again. Apologies. So maintaining position 2 here, because we have a right-hander. Doesn't look as if there's any driveways on the left-hand side. There is one there, but I could see it from far enough ahead to see that there's no traffic coming out of it. So we have a bit of a blind crest here. Although it's a left-hander, I'm actually going to maintain position probably 3 and a bit, to be perfectly honest. Because blind crests are always particularly hazardous, because you never know what's on the other side of them, and you'll come across or come on top of it fairly quickly if you're not careful. So, where we now got a right-hand turn, so we're in position 1/2. We have a change in speed limit down to 30. Mirror check, and gear down to 30 miles an hour as we cross the imaginary line. Now we have a left-hand turn here. It's fairly tight, it's fairly uphill. I'm actually coming quite the way out just to try and get a view, but here it's looking even tighter, so I'm moving a little bit in again, but sacrificing my speed. And we're in this little village. We have lots of cars parked on both left and right, so I'm going to check my mirrors first, and nothing there, but I'm going to just stay right in the extreme position 5, but there's an oncoming vehicle, so I'm going to move across to position 3. We have a giveaway to oncoming traffic here, but I need to see around the corner, so I'm moving across to position 2. I did check that junction, it was nice and open, so I didn't have to worry about it. Some vehicles parked on the left, so just slightly decelerate. Coming out right at almost to the other side of the road to give myself a view, not only to give myself a view, but also to be seen. And obviously that mini was oncoming, so I move across. Some gentlemen on the left-hand side, so just give them a bit of space in case one of them does a wobble or something. We have a vehicle that's looking to come out on the right-hand side there out of that junction, so I'm going to keep right over here in position 2. We've now cleared the junction, so mirror check back out to position 5. Really, so I got, well, I can see the cyclists ahead of me, but I can also see the roads moving out to the left, cyclists peeling off to the right, so that's all very well and good. Mirror check, I do have this vehicle behind me that was pulled out of that junction. Still behind me, increase in the speed limit up to 40, so we accelerate up to 40. Mirror check behind me, that car has dropped back a little bit, so that's all very well and good. What a beautiful evening. Beautiful evening. Days like this that are made for riding motorbikes. Okay, so now we're just coming into the delightful market town of Marlborough. It's currently a 30 mile an hour limit. Coming up to this little mini roundabout now, strictly speaking, according to the letter of the law, you should not go over that central painted bit. But quite honestly, that is the worst design, well, one of the worst designed mini roundabouts I've ever seen in my life. And good luck to anybody trying not to hit that painted bit in the middle. So we're just coming into Marlborough, 30 mile an hour speed limit here. So nothing quite as happening or as quickly, well, generally speaking, it doesn't happen as quickly as when you're on the road, but there's more stuff happening when you're in a more urban environment than the rural environment that I was in. So we have oncoming traffic here. He's turning to the left, doing a mirror check. And there's a whatever the hell that is. So he's letting me go. Thank you very much. Whatever. God knows what that is. Anyway, very nice. So, key thing to look out for in urban environments. Obviously, as I said, there's a lot more happening in terms of hazards and potential hazards. Traffic, people, dogs, OAPs, case in point. So your eyes need to be, honestly, on swivels. Now it's obviously pretty quiet here at the moment. It's what, 7:10 on a Monday afternoon, so not a lot happening right now. So I'm turning right here. I did see that vehicle turn in there, so I just want to make sure he's not doing anything daft. There's a vehicle looking to come out, but he's good, he's a learner. My coast is clear, so I'm going to move in to the road. Now I've got a couple of these split speed bumps, so in order to keep my bike as stable as possible, I'm going to choose, because it was safe to do so, to actually avoid them and ride through the flat bit in the middle. Just perfectly fine, perfectly legal, and in fact is encouraged. This guy's decided to walk on the road, so I'm going to choose the middle path again. Now we're a very sharp left-hand turning here, but we have a huge mirror, and I see there's a white Beetle turning around here. So I'm going to crawl around this vehicle. I'm not sure what they're doing. There's a lady wanting to cross from the zebra crossing, or toucan, or puffin, or whatever the hell it is. So the way is clear again. We have yet another speed bump. Did a mirror check and chose to go through the middle of them. Now this one you can't really avoid, so just going to do the line of least resistance. Right, right-hand turning here, so I'm going to keep well over to the left-hand side. We have yet another speed bump. Now this one's slightly more difficult to avoid, so I'm going to choose to actually go over it, staying to the left. Now we have a give way to oncoming vehicles, of which there are not any at the moment. So the 20 zone finishes, so we can get up to 30. Looking as far ahead as I can. Lots of parked vehicles, nothing major. There's a car park here with some activity, but nothing happening here. I'm keeping over to at least a open doors width from those cars parked on the left-hand side. Maintaining 30. We have the left-hand turning here, left-hand sweeper. So maintaining more or less position 2. So I didn't want to encroach too far across because there were some station vehicles on the right-hand side. So maintaining position 3 at the moment to balance the risk, because I can't actually see anything, if there is anything, coming out of that driveway or whatever it is, which there isn't. Now we're coming up to the roundabout. Mirror check, I'm turning left here. So indicate. Down to second gear, nothing coming, so accelerate out. And although there is actually no sign, I do know from local knowledge this is actually a 60 mile an hour stretch of road. So looking ahead, we have another roundabout. I'm going straight here, so no need to indicate. I do a mirror check, nothing behind me. Start bleeding off the speed, brake, brake, brake. Still in third, down to second. Check there's nothing coming out of the left. Shoulder check, nothing behind me. We're all good. Accelerating up to 60 miles an hour. Conscious of the bicycles on the right-hand side, so keep well out of their way. So coming up to 60, select a more appropriate gear, which for this bike is 4th. I could do 5th, but I feel that 4th is slightly more responsive for this road we're on at the moment. So I'm in position 2, mirror check, position 4. Looking as far ahead as I can, see the road sweeps around to the right. A couple of driveways, the road surface doesn't look too brilliant, so I'm going to keep position 3 till now, move across to position 2, Have the vehicle ahead of me now, keeping in position 2 to maximise the view. Not sure those are lights coming on or brake lights, so I'm just going to slowly roll off the throttle. Looks like it was lights and not brake lights, so that's fine. Speed limit is 60 here, so I'm going to accelerate back up to 60. We don't seem to be gaining on the vehicle in front in any great amount of speed, so I'm just going to hold station here, looking far ahead as I can. The road does sweep across to the left, but because of the oncoming traffic, I'm going to take up position 3 as a compromise. View opens up, looking far ahead as I can. I can see that my limit point is actually that left-hand turner, but we have a bicycle just ahead of us. The car ahead of us is decelerating, so I'm going to decelerate. I'm in 4th at the moment, coming down to 3rd. Making sure that the road is clear, giving the cyclist plenty of room. Looking as far ahead as I can see that the road sweeps around to the right, so I'm going to adopt position 2 again to maximise the view. Looking for the view, the road sweeps around to the left, so I'm going to take an early position in position 5 to maximise my view around there. There is an incoming car, so I'm going to give way, yield a bit of my road, move to position 3, and I can see my next limit factor is that left-hand turn, so I'm going to maintain in position 5, always ready to move across if needs be. It's now right-hand side, right-hand turn, so I'll move across there. So we've got a couple of gentlemen here, give them a nod. Well, a gentleman and his lady, or maybe they're a couple of gentlemen, I'm not going to judge. So we're coming up to a 30. Mirror check, roll off the speed, brake, down into 3rd, and as we cross the line we're doing 30. So again, well, I wouldn't exactly call it urban, but slightly more built up area. So I'm going to maintain position 3, so it affords me the best, well, there's nothing behind me. And in that particular stretch of road did afford me sufficient view. But we have a left-hander at the moment, so I'm going to adopt to position 4, because I don't need to go all the way to position 5, because for the speed I'm going, I can see that the road ahead of me is clear, and I can come to a halt safely on my own side of the road, so there's no real need to move out further in position 4. So maintaining 30 miles an hour. We have a set of traffic lights here, checking for pedestrians, anybody else who may want to choose to push the button, but there isn't anybody. So we have a right-hander here. Now there is a road and a slight junction, but there's nothing I can see there, so that's good. Beer and pub food. Smells good. Now looking as far ahead as I can see that we're about to hit a national speed limit, so I'm doing my mirror checks early. There's absolutely nothing behind me. I'm going to take position in position 2, just again to maximise the view. As we cross the line, I'm going to progressively accelerate. And when we get up to 60 miles an hour, I'll select the appropriate speeds, which, as I said before, for this particular set of circumstances will be 4th. Sometimes I go up to 5th, but 4th and 5th for now. So for the left-hander, and the limit point is actually quite close, but now it starts opening up, which indicates that the corner is opening up. Looking far ahead as I can, so I maintain that view. I'm staying in position 4. Yielding slightly for the oncoming vehicle, moving out to position 5 to get a view around the corner. There's the view, it goes across to the right, so I move into position 2, goes across to the right again, so I will stay in position 2, but I see a bit of a building here, so I'm just going to move across into position 3, so I'm not sure unless there is a driveway there, but there was nothing coming. Looking again far as I can see that there's a left-hand turning, so I'm maintaining position 4/5, looking far as I can actually see the road going up that little hill over there. I see there's a vehicle going the same direction as me, but I didn't actually see any oncoming vehicles, which doesn't necessarily mean to say that there isn't, but in this case there isn't. So we have a four-way junction. Checking to the left, there's nothing coming. Checking to the right. Now the right junction is what is relatively open, it's semi-closed because the hedgerow, so I would compromise and yield to the right, so it affords me greatest margin for error as well as a view into the junction. So that's the gist of it. That's I've been talking a lot, I've said position about 15 million times, but that is really key to making progress. And I don't mean making progress in the IAM sense of the word, which is you know, going hell for leather, but within the constraints and confined to the speed limit and the rules, etc. But making progress safely. That's what's the whole objective of advanced riding courses such as IAM and RoSPA and a couple of others. That's what they try and instill in you. So I'm going to have a little break here because I've got something sticking in the side of my cheek, which is slightly uncomfortable. And maybe speak to you a bit later then. Bye.